Hey guys, my name is Alex and thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate your visit. Today we're gonna solve this kind of game puzzle which is related to arrays. Let's get into it. So as you can see, I'm gonna read this because this is a little bit long. Let's go. Create a function that takes an array of numbers between 1 and 10, excluding one number. That's the point. That's the point of the game. And returns the missing number. So you have 1 to 10, and maybe you are missing 4. I want to know that I'm missing the number 4. That's it. That's the game. Very, very simple. And we have two premises here. The first premise is that the array of numbers will be unsorted, which in this case is a little bit harder because you don't have 1, 2, 3. You're missing 4, so you don't have 4, and 5, 6, 7. So you don't have the situation. The array might start with 5 and 4 and 3 and 10, and you can start with any number, and you have this kind of unsorted array. And the second premise is that you have only one number missing. So as soon as you find the number that is missing, then you can stop executing. That's very, very simple. And I have the first thing that I want to do. First of all, just to make sure that we are on the same page when it comes to solving algorithms and solving problems. The first step is just getting the job done. That's the first step. The second step is we want to kind of create a more maintainable and easier code, easier to read. And later on, we want to solve that using a more Ruby way. So that's the steps that I want to take here. The first step, because I want to get the job done, I want to create this logic. I want to explore the logic behind this problem, which in this case, I have this array of numbers, which in this case goes from 1 to 10, the complete array, and I want to compare each of these numbers to this array that we are missing a number. So in this case, we are missing a number. And I have the second example, which in this case, again, I'm missing a number. Let's go through the first logic, for example, which in this case is one of the examples, one of the ways that you can solve this problem. You have 1, and you can compare 1 to all of the numbers that you have in this sequence. And I can just say 1, I'm going to compare 1 to 9, it's not 1, 2, and 4, and 8, and 3, and 10, and 5, and 1. I have 1, so which means that I already have 1. This is not a number that we are missing. Perfect. Let's go to the second one. I'm going to validate 2. So I have 9 and I have 2. Perfect. Now I know that we are not missing 2. Let's go to the next one, which is in this case is 3. And I have 1 and 2 and 4 and 8 and 3. We are not missing 3. Let's go to 4, 9 to 4. We are not missing 4. And the 5, 9, 2, 4, 8, 3, 10, 5. We are not missing 5. Amazing. Let's go to the next one. 6. This is here, right? So you go from 9 to 6. We are not missing 6. Let's validate 7. Okay, so 7, 9, 2, 4, 8, 3, 10, 5, 1, and 6. Okay, so I have validated all of the numbers, all of the items, and I didn't find 7, which in this case, we are missing 7. So here we have 7. The next one, the same thing. So 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4, okay, 7, 10, 6, 1, 3, 8, 2, 9, 5. I don't have 4. Which in this case, we are missing 4. That's it. That's the logic behind this problem. Perfect. The next step is translating this into Ruby code. Again, this is not about Ruby, this is not about Python, Erlang, Clojure, JavaScript, TypeScript. This is all about logic and concepts. And once you truly understand concepts and logics, the easiest step is translating that into code. You can translate it to Python, Ruby, Java, easily. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to create this method called find missing number, and it takes an array as an argument. Perfect. Let's close it out, and then I'm going to call this find missing number here, and of course passing an array as an argument. And here you go. Perfect. Let's say that I have this sequence. I'm going to translate that. So I have this sequence. I'm going to create this array in Ruby. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. This is not the best way to create arrays in Ruby. And if you have been watching all of the videos in this series, you already know that. So I'm going to call the each method, and for each item in this array, in this sequence, I want to do something. And what I want to do is I want to take this number and compare with the numbers in this array and validate if this number exists or not in that array. So I want to say array for each of these numbers in this array. I want to validate if the item, the current item in this array, is equal to the number. Perfect. So what happens if the number is equal to if the item is equal to the number? If 1 is equal to this number, I can just stop the execution, right? I can just stop the execution because I have found the number. And I want to indicate that using a local variable because I want to use that local variable later. So I'm going to create this local variable called found that starts with false. And if I have found the number, then found will receive true. Perfect. So I want to validate all of the items in this array, and after that I want to say, hey, if the found is equal, the found local variable is equal to false, then that means that I didn't find the number, right? So I didn't find, let's say here 7. I have this array and I didn't find 7. So what I want to do is I want to return the item that I didn't find. Perfect. That's it. So I think the translation is just that. Double check here. I have array, if found, and true, and false, if false, return item. Yeah, sounds pretty good. If I execute this, let me see. Okay, found is not. Okay, of course, found is not a local variable because it should be here. Let me check if, yes, 7. Okay, so I'm going to validate another number. I'm going to replace 5 with 7, which in this case, the result, I'm going to clean this. The result should be 5. If I execute this, yes, 5. Perfect. That's it. As I said before, this is all about concepts and the logic. This is not about Ruby. This is not the best code that I can write in Ruby. And please, if you have another better solution, of course you have, drop your comment below with the solution. In the next video, we're going to explore the same example, but using a better code design, a little bit more readable. And probably a video after the next one, we are going to explore a Ruby way to solve this problem. We have a fancy and beautiful, always beautiful way to solve this type of problem in Ruby. And that's it. So I hope that you like it, and see you in the next video exploring a better way to do this, because this is really terrible. So see you soon.